8 a.m. Rise and shine. You awake with me? Are ya? You having a great start to your Sunday morning? I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk, where we get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Our Tower Cam network, beautiful as we look out and see what's doing over on the Lake Eola side of things. Not much to track out there. It's a quiet morning for us. But we come over to our first warning live Doppler radar, and we are indeed watching some rain. So let's do this. We'll zoom in and just kind of lapse it and kind of give you an idea what we're looking at. Up into Volusia County, we've had a few showers already. Let me zoom in just a little bit around New Smyrna Beach, working out towards Samsula, Osteen, Lake Ashby, a little bit of rainfall working your direction. Further to the south, seeing some new formation of rains around Scottsmore, excuse me, Mims, the Whispering Hills Golf Estates, Kennedy Space Center. More heavier rainfall crossing over Cape Canaveral, working over toward Port St. John. There's Cocoa Beach, some downpours, and then a little bit less down around southern Brevard County at the moment. But the bottom line is the radar is already tracking rainfall, and we're going to have plenty more through the morning. Temperatures out the door are in the 70s and 80s. Here's a look at our forecast. Today, much earlier start to the rain, as if you needed me to tell you. About lunchtime, we're going to see plenty of storms, 60% coverage of rainfall through about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and then little by little we'll put that to bed. Notice dinner time or so will be looking better and better. So yeah, not so bad at all today. Just a little bit of rain to deal with, but we can handle that. I think. Good morning to you. Cheryl, good morning. Frank, how are ya? Latanya, good morning. Taylor, good morning to you. Fran, Karen, need to mow before it rains. Good morning, all. Karen, good morning. Yeah, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Get it taken care of early. Scott says coffee time. It's so true. Looking forward to the rain. We'll not have to water the plants. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad gig, right? Leon over on YouTube, good morning. Patrick on YouTube, good morning to you. Anne-Marie, good morning. Putting up a fence today, need to get started soon so I don't sweat so many buckets. Just don't overdo it. That's all I ask. Just don't overdo it. All right, so what's the overall setup? We've definitely got a change in our weather pattern today versus yesterday. The first way to see this is by looking at the satellite and the radar. And you'll notice particularly down here over like southwest Florida, there's a little something brewing. There's a little something showing up down in this area. You can almost kind of make out a bit of a counterclockwise spin. It's not there yet, but you can almost make it out. So that's a little tropical wave, and that little tropical wave is trying to throw moisture our way. It's also the reason that we had a pretty dry day yesterday. Totally opposite scenario today, though, right? So what does Futurecast say? Let's take a look. This morning, doing a great job of showing the rains around the beaches, keeping the rains around the beaches through 11 o'clock this morning. Then afterward, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, we've got widely scattered showers, even thunder showers around central Florida. And by 3, 4 o'clock, it kind of clears on out of the area. So little by little, it's going to be that way. So because of this, I'm declaring today an okay pool day. It's not great because we've got all of that rain right smack dab in the middle of the day. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. So just know that if you can swing it, great. Get in the pool. I certainly think I would like to try and do that, but if not, then no, you can't. All right. So that's a look at Futurecast. That's a look at the overall forecast. If you're heading to the beaches today, seas and surf are on the build. Okay. For today, wind is going to be breezy for sure. We're looking at essentially a churning surf, waves offshore running 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 foot breakers near shore, and basically rip current's a concern, offshore water's a concern. Candy's asking, will these storms be fast moving or will they be slow and dump a bunch of rain? So it looks like they're going to be pretty decently clipped storms. In other words, they're going to move pretty quickly. And I say that among other reasons because there's quite a bit of breeze out there. So let's do this. Let's take a look at the rainfall accumulation product from Futurecast. If I can find the darn thing. All right. So here's a look at Futurecast. And let's get an idea of what it's kind of saying. All right. So there you go. So we're looking kind of, you can kind of see just I have got to put it up, don't I? Most of the areas are going to get a ½ inch of rain or less. There will be some pockets, according to Futurecast, that end up with, an inch or two. So basically, it's not big flooding concern. Flooding is not going to be a concern with this kind of an overall weather pattern. Yeah. But, why? What's going on? What is the overall adjuster in our weather pattern? So here's the setup. Tropical wave over southwest Florida, working away from us. And as it works over toward like Texas and Louisiana and tries to form a surface low and perhaps try to organize, one thing that I want you to notice is that while all that's happening over here in Florida, we're really drying things out. Our rain chances are going down. So look at where we end up over the next couple of days. Today, 60% coverage of rainfall, but it's mostly dry, 10-20% coverage for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Now, what happens after that, right? That's an interesting question. So let's do this. Let's take a step back and let's look at the weather map again, but from a longer perspective. So there that goes, organizes perhaps, tries to do its thing in the Western Gulf. Meanwhile, on the right side, Florida, dry. Look at Tuesday. That may be making landfall as a depression, maybe a storm, right on the South Texas border there. Look at Florida, dry. Then look at North Florida and watch how a weak front slides through and brings back a little bit of moisture. So particularly the second half of the week into the weekend, that's when we're going to be able to start seeing that moisture chance rise. In the meantime, though, until that front does its thing, we're going to end up fairly dry in Central Florida, okay? So let's take a look at our 7-day forecast, put that together, and then we've got some tropics to talk about, right? Here we go. Today, 60% coverage of showers and thunder showers. For Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rain chances low, and then Thursday, that moisture comes back from that front. Models are saying that Friday may be a little drier, but if I were a betting man, I'd say that rain chance probably rises. And then Saturday, Sunday, we're kind of back to normal for Central Florida standards, okay? Before we get to the tropics, does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about our local weather? I'll give you a few seconds. Patty says if it's going to rain, bring on some good storms. Today looks like it's going to be rain, but it doesn't look like there's going to be anything too strong. So there's that. All right. How's California doing? Getting ready for a tropical storm, which is the craziest thing, Arch. Yeah. Other questions? Yes, Frank, thanks. It helps to put the map up. Yes, thank you very much. All right, other questions that anybody may have. Anybody? Morning, y'all. Brian says, leaving Wisconsin today to head to Austin, Texas for a late Wednesday arrival. Sure wish that low headed to Texas would cool things down there. Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yukon said pick on him. I will pick on whoever I so please. Anne's asking about an early fall. In an El Nino year, it's possible. But let me tell you something. With El Nino comes the threat for severe weather come the spring and even the winter. So gross. Lauren, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Preparing for fluids in California. Yes. All right, that's it for our local stuff. Let's go to the tropics. Count them. 1. All right, let's do this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 areas. It's kind of crazy what's going on in the tropics. Let's discuss things, all right? So we've got, hold on a second. Let me reload the graphic. All right. So we've got 1 area, 2 areas, 3, 4, and 5 areas to track in the tropics. So let's do it, okay? Let's start with the one closest to us, and let's take a look. It's that tropical wave over South Florida working away from us. Hurricane Center gives it a medium 50% likelihood of developing over the next few days. It has essentially until Tuesday, because after that, it makes landfall. So models are trying to do something there. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, moving away from us, not a threat whatsoever. This one, out of everything, this is the one to me that is of most interest. Hurricane Center gives it a high likelihood that we'll see a depression form in the next couple of days' time. As a matter of fact, I just wanted to skim here. From the Hurricane Center's latest update, additional development of this system is expected. A tropical depression likely to form in the next couple of days as it moves before turning northward and moving in the southwest Atlantic by midweek. Regardless, yes. A recon mission scheduled to investigate later today. That's going to be an interesting mission to watch. I think that this becomes something. Either way, the good news is that the expectation of this something is that it develops and then moves the heck away from us. All right, so there's that. Elsewhere, just back behind it, that's Tropical Depression 6. Latest forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center brings it to a remnant low by tomorrow. Out in the open Atlantic is Invest 98. Expected to develop, not a concern. And then another decent wave rolling off the coast of Africa, now with a 50% likelihood of development. So what we end up with, looking at the Atlantic basin as a whole, you've got 4 potential areas of development with 1 tropical depression. Yeah, and a recon mission scheduled to go up today. Yeesh. Good stuff. All right. It's going to get a little interesting this season for hurricanes. Every hurricane season's interesting. The one thing that I want to point out, though, there's a lot going on out there, but how many of them are massive Category 1 hurricanes? Or Category 2, 3, 4, 5 hurricanes? There's no Category 6. 0. There are no hurricanes in our basin, at least. Why is that? Because A, when the Pacific is kicking, it's hard to have the Atlantic kicking. We're not in MJO phase. But moreover, B, the ingredients are there partially, but not fully. And in order for a hurricane to really get going, you need all of those ingredients to work in tandem. So we're not seeing that. Thus, we're not seeing massive things. Beverly says, looks like it will be an interesting tracking tropics on Tuesday. Yes, it absolutely will. It will indeed. So lots of moisture, lots of stuff to watch. Tina, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. After sending us storms like spitballs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the coast of Africa is throwing these monsoonal troughs, and then the Atlantic is kind of chewing them up and spitting them out. So why haven't we gotten a ton of stuff? Well, take a look. First off, and we talked about this on our Tracking the Tropics broadcast on Tuesday, but basically what you end up with is we've got a lot of Saharan dust. A lot of Saharan dust. So if we look at the forecast model for the Saharan dust, this, I think, tells a better story. Watch that dust fading away, looking at this weekend and into next week, and then another inflection. So, there's going to be more opportunity for stuff. It's just going to take a little while to get there. All right. So in terms of the Atlantic basin, for right now, we are fine. Let's take a look at the global models. Let's see what they're doing, and get an idea of perhaps basin. Get an idea of perhaps what's ahead. Okay, so let's just bring up full. This is the raw GFS, mean sea level pressure normalized anomaly development. Sure, but anything threatening Florida? Look at that. There's a CAG around Central America. You've got an area of low pressure near the Dominican Republic and Haiti, an area of low pressure out in the Central Atlantic, another area of low pressure in the center. So a lot going on. Storm systems around, keeping everything. Those fronts are keeping all these areas of low pressure, though, out east of the United States, which is fine by me. Maybe scraping up the Canadian Maritimes. That could be interesting around the end of the month. Right? But nothing big. Another couple of waves out over the open Atlantic. But yeah, nothing big. So that's the GFS. Let's switch over to the euro. Euro, moving that into the Caribbean, lifting it north and weakening it. So that's fine. Yep. Reorganizing it maybe. Recurving it. That's fine. And then if we go back to the control to be able to go out further. Now that right there, look at that. See this, so okay. So a couple things. So here it is Sunday, August 20th. By August 30th, model's trying to bubble up something and move it kind of across Florida and up into the Carolinas. That's a little late, but I do think that the BSR showed us that part of the pattern, the Carolina part of the pattern, kind of developing that way. So that's an interesting little thing for me. I will definitely continue to watch that. But from there, nothing crazy. All right, let's switch over to the ensembles. We'll start with the GFS ensembles, and we'll go to the Caribbean view. And we'll change modes over to this. I'm just curious if any of these ensemble members are wanting to develop anything. Yeah, like most of them, if you look around the coastline of Texas and Mexico, most of those ensembles are not wanting to develop something around Texas and Mexico. But look into the Caribbean. There's definitely something there, right? There's definitely a bunch of ensemble members there. And then they start to spread out, staying east of us. Okay, that's the 27th. That's next weekend. All right. Great ensemble agreement with majority of that energy staying east of us. And then afterward, look at that, kind of just some other stuff. So I think that these next couple of weeks, we're definitely going to start to get a little busier. Let's switch over to the European ensembles and see what's doing. We'll start in the short term. There's the Caribbean, that area of low pressure. A couple of European ensemble members on Tuesday trying to bring this little area of low pressure ashore. So we could perhaps see something out there around Texas and Mexico. Afterward, notice the ensemble members doing what they're doing, kind of recurving, staying away from us. And then the European is trying to throw together something around early September in the Gulf of Mexico. Makes sense. But for now, it looks like everything is kind of behaving. Everything's doing what we would think. So no big threats for us in Central Florida, at least right now, okay? That's where we're at. No big threats in Central Florida for now. So for those that are asking, are they coming to Florida? No, Brett, not coming to Florida. Not coming to Florida. Okay? You got it? Terry says, dust is our friend. Oh, absolutely, dust is our friend. I'll take that. Do the ingredients come together soon? Does the MJO come here? It looks like, I haven't even looked actually this morning. Stand by. It definitely comes into phase this week. Yeah. It's not a strong signal, but this week it definitely comes in phase. And then it goes out of phase through September 5th. So this week we go in phase for a bit. Yep. No stuff. Nope, we're good, Jeannie says. Oh, I know. I agree with that. Do you think October, November will be busy due to the warm waters and Saharan dust weakening? I hope not, Leon. We'll have to see how it plays out, though. Honestly, I don't know for sure. We'll watch the teleconnections and the BSR, right? Janice says the tropics woke up. I mean, ish. Remember, though, there's only one depression in it. I mean, like, that depression is pathetic. There's not a bunch of stuff out there right now. There's a bunch of possible things. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. Okay. There's a bunch of possible things, but in terms of actual systems, we've got one. It's a depression, and it is puny. Really not much there. Lisa's asking, a cruise to the Caribbean is safe. Depends on when that cruise is, but at the moment, yeah, we're not looking too bad. Justin over on YouTube, from years of experience, which model do you agree with the most, the GFS or the Euro? It's whichever has a better handle on the scenario at play. So right now, I think the Euro has a really good handle on things. Dust is a weather friend and sinus headache. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I need Campeche. All right, now I can drink. Okay. Oh my gosh, I am so tired today. These kids are wearing me out. They're great, but man, beating me up. They're beating me up. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast, about the tropics, all of that stuff? Troy's asking, does the BSR go out far enough for the Nicole recycle? Not yet. I literally was just looking that up with television's Jason Guy. It's not out far enough yet. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? It's Sunday, which means it's Seamless Sunday in the cut-in. So I'm going to have to go do that cut-in here in a couple of minutes. Counting down. All right. These feral kids are tiny bullies. Oh my God, they are bullies. They are bullies. Man. All right. That's what I got for you. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will be sitting in this very chair tomorrow for WESH 2 News Sunrise. We get to hang out on TV starting at 4:30 in the morning. Oh, it's early. And then we will do coffee talk, and we'll do the crazy coffee talk where I'll take you to the Chroma Key and all that fun stuff. So hang out with us, okay? In the meantime, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Take care. Have a great Sunday.